Welcome to the Girlfriend's Guide to Senior Living. I'm Gail Peacock.
And I'm Lori Williams.
And we are so happy you could join us. We're passionate about helping families navigate the senior living maze. Each episode, we will share with you our knowledge of senior living and help you to eliminate the uncertainties you face in the search for senior resources.
Hey, girlfriends. In the first segment, we covered how caregiving affects our marriages, our family and kids, and we shared some ideas to help relieve the stress. So in this segment, we're going to talk about how caregiving can affect our careers and our friendships.
So 1 out of 6 Americans assist with some kind of caregiving per Family Caregiver Alliance, which is a group that you can go and Google and see all the different services that they actually offer. When we take on the road, let's try that again. When we take on the role of a caregiver, it changes all of our relationships. So let's talk about how it affects our friendships.
Absolutely. So one of the biggest ways is social changes. So we have less time for ourselves for socialization. So when we do have a few minutes to ourselves, we may not want to go out with our friends.
We want to wear our robes, our slippers.
You know, I mean, that we normally maybe we'd like to go out to have dinner with friends, but now we're so tired we just want to maybe take a bath or catch up on Days of Our Lives or
100%.
Exactly. I mean, maybe you're looking forward to meeting your friends. You want to do your normal Thirsty Thursday, but just, you know, the thought of getting up, getting dressed, going out and meeting them, and then the conversation is going to be, how's mom? How's
You're
dad?
like, here we go again.
And you just want to break from it all. So that's kind of the issues we see with socialization.
Definitely. Another one would be fear, just plain old fear, right? So as friends, if we see our friends dealing with the situation, we might think, could that be me someday? Mm-hmm. Or could that be me taking care of somebody someday? So it's kind of like reality right in our face.
Right in the face,
which is a little scary. And there could be feelings of embarrassment or anxiety, sadness, and it really affects all of us because we feel that in our friends. But the fear piece is really real.
Yeah.
We're all kind of scared. We had a great this week seeing the memorial for President Bush. And so it really brought kind of our feelings of all this being in the senior living industry.
Exactly.
We see and we feel that.
And we may have come at it from a different perspective also, but if you're a caregiver or you work in the senior industry, when Bob Dole got up to pay his respects to President Bush.
Yes.
And we saw how much that took out of him. I mean, he was so frail. We saw the caregivers are struggling. And he was shaking. We saw, that it was it gave me some anxiety.
Yeah, it gave us both anxiety and worry. And they were trying to fix his jacket so he looked so... But yet, at the same time, he was so,
he was determined.
Yes.
You could see the determination in his eyes, and I totally respect him for doing that. But, we could see what it took, the effort and the people there to help him and to do that. So it kind of brought all that home, the stress, the anxiety, all of that stuff for a caregiver.
And people watching. So we're watching, and we're watching our friends go through it.
Exactly.
And so that's what everyone's trying to hide, right? Those unspoken challenges is what we're all trying to act like aren't happening.
Yeah. And those are the things, watching them struggle, getting him to stand up. Like when you take your dad out to a restaurant, if he's in, that kind of shape, in a wheelchair, and there's the fear. That's why people stop wanting to go out and do things. Right there. It was a great example. So, and guys, we are our own worst enemy. We talked about this a lot, how we just internalize all this stress. We don't want to share it and be a burden on our friends. And
or be Debbie Downer, like we talked about before, because you're like, woe is me. Who wants to hang out with that person?
No. And then maybe we're sitting home, we have a little downtime before we go to bed, and we're scrolling through Facebook.
Yes.
And we're like, my life is so sad,
Yeah, and everyone else is like, yay me.
They look like $1 million, and you're sitting there, you haven't had a bath in 3 days because
your eyebrows are like this thick. These things matter.
Yeah, because and that's where again we're just our own worst enemies, because who's going to put on Facebook that they haven't showered in 3 days? I mean, most people are not going to say that, but you're going to see the highlight reel, so you can't compare yourself. People aren't going to put the nitty gritty parts on Facebook about, how I'm caring for mom and this happened. And, you just typically don't do that.
And that kind of goes into our resentment and guilt, which we talked about in the first segment.
Yeah.
So we are resentful if we want to own it, right? When we see our friends enjoying their lives, the big word that came back and forth for us was freedom. I think we take advantage that we have freedom. When your kids get older, you're not on house arrest anymore, and you kind of have the freedom to do you, instead of having to always work, I got to pick them up after school and all these things. So those resentment and guilt to just go meet your girlfriends for lunch or go shopping, I mean, people are very envious of that. So all plays a part.
Absolutely.
So in this segment, in our last segment, we talked about feeling guilty, leaving things for somebody else's to do, like what we were talking about, getting their hair done, just the normal tasks that we feel resentful and guilt for. We feel that we're being selfish. So we have a little quote here about guilt that we loved, and we've been saying it back and forth a lot.
Irma Bombeck. Who doesn't love
Irma?
Bombeck? Oh my goodness.
The guilt, the gift that keeps on giving.
How great is that?
You never get to walk away from guilt.
No.
God bless our souls.
No, we don't. So, and caregiving also has a huge impact on our careers. And we found a great quote from AARP, which is, "We are losing good employees due to caregiving responsibilities."
So true.
Definitely. Yes.
Most families, we're all in a juggling act, which we talk about a lot lately on our shows, between work and kids and household and errands.
It's like the normal juggling act.
Yes, normal. And now we're taking on being a caregiver for a family member. And one more ball is thrown in the air, right? So to keep all those balls in the air and plus our career, I think we were saying our career probably takes a hit first
Probably
sometimes.
does, because you got to take care of the kids.
Yes. And really, so what we do is we try to find little wins, right? So we're going to find maybe a less demanding job, but if we do that, then it's less money. Or it could be we work less hours, which also means less money because we have to spend more time being a caregiver.
Exactly. And at work, I mean, you have a loss of focus. So maybe you're up all night helping, or maybe you had to go to the emergency room with your mom when you still have to be at work in the morning.
Right.
So, companies see, like, they notice the lack of focus, and also there's more absenteeism. You're having to use your vacation and sick days not to go on a great vacation or for your own sickness, but to take care of a family member. So, I mean, you're losing that time.
So you're probably showing up to work sick because you can't even take a sick day because you don't have any, because you've been using them to be a caregiver, and then you come to work sick and you're not giving 100%.
Exactly. I mean, you're taking time to take mom or dad to the doctor's appointment. So then when you have to go to the doctor, you're not going to go. It circles right back into the whole resentment and guilt that we've been talking about.
100%. There is a bright side to this, and this is something that I've been following for quite a while. Companies are finally starting to stand up and take notice of this for caregivers. They're offering flex hours. They're offering telecommuting. I would say telecommunication. It's like, that's not the right word.
Telecommuting.
They're paying for leave, which is another, help. And they're offering solutions now, which they never were before. And this is kind of new in the last, I'd say probably 3 to 5 years that they're offering this. And as part of the sandwich generation, which we both are, adults anywhere from 40 to 50, one of the biggest employee benefits that's incredibly important is the caregiver support, which a lot of companies are offering, which is they're paying attention and they're starting to offer, like we said, unpaid leave or paid leave beyond what the normal FMLA offers. So it's kind of getting you a little bit out of that box. And some of these companies that were big companies versus there's a million of them, so if we forgot you, we apologize. But the big names that we all know, Transamerica, Kimberly-Clark, Johnson & Johnson, Fannie Mae, Bank of America, those are big companies, and they're making a difference for us that are being the caregivers.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see more and more of that because the baby boomers, it's such a huge group, and we're all we're there.
That is true. Yeah.
So I think companies, they're seeing they're going to have to do this and offer this because so many people are falling into the role of caregiver. So to kind of recap it all, we all need to be heard, and sometimes we're afraid to share because we don't want people to think, oh, what an ungrateful daughter you are, right? Or an ungrateful spouse.
Or you still have your parents, so why are you, complaining?
Yeah, and so we don't want to want to look like a complainer. So, the struggle is real. And these are really, like we've said this term over and over, the unspoken challenges of being a caregiver. It's human nature when people ask you how you're doing, you automatically are going to say fine. I mean, you're not going to go, life's terrible,
Especially when you're walking in the hallway at work or something.
Yeah,
you're not going to be like, so, and the person's like, I was just asking to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear fine. Just don't ask her.
I made eye contact with you, and now I feel awkward. So wow.
Yeah, and then you're stuck 10 minutes. Yeah. But the caregiver easily loses their identity because it becomes all about the person that they're taking care of. So instead of and I'm guilty of doing this. And see a friend who I know they're taking care of their mom, and I'm like, hey, how's your mom? I don't say, how are you? And that's what we need to do. We need to stop and recognize not just, we want to know we want them to know we're concerned about them, thinking about their mom, but if every time we see them, it's, how's your mom doing? Instead of, how are you?
So true.
Yeah.
We talk about making a simple gesture to let them know that we see you, right? The caregivers, we see you, and we love you, and we got to love on you. It's important for them to feel loved on. Some ideas that we had was, again, like getting the lasagna when you're at Sam's that you love in your family and dropping it off at someone's house. Don't ask. And we do a lot of work at Corner Bakery, and so we were laughing at that cinnamon cake there is outstanding. So
I haven't tried it.
Don't
and
try
I don't want to because she told me not to.
Sorry, Corner Bakery, but don't try it. But you could pick up a slice to drop it off at your friend that's maybe having a bad time right now. Just again, be seen. Make sure they know that they're being seen.
And we had that great quote: "A simple act." I love this one, and we'll put it up for you. But a simple act of kindness creates an endless ripple. I really like that.
Look at that. There you go.
Great quote.
We hope that this segment has opened your eyes to the life of a caregiver. And if you are the caregiver, what you are doing with your loved one and what you're definitely making a difference. So remember that. You're making a sacrifice and we see you. And P.S., make sure you take care of you.
Absolutely. So on our next episode, we're going to start the conversation about Alzheimer's. And there's a lot to it, so we're just going to kind of start diving into it. But
skim the top.
Yeah, there's a lot to do with Alzheimer's, but we want to start the conversation. So keep following us on Facebook and watch for us on our travels and see where the next adventure leads. So we're girlfriends on the road. So keep an eye out for us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. As your girlfriends, we'd love to hear from you. Each episode will feature new questions. Don't keep it a secret. Share us with your friends. We're on Facebook, YouTube, podcast platforms, and even in your Alexa. See you.